Hi, welcome back to another episode of Just Living Designs podcast. My name is Shannon and I am Just Living Designs. You can find all my information down below, my Ravelry pattern page and my link tree that has my other places I sell patterns, which are Lovecrafts and Payhip. I have my Instagram handle down there, my Goodreads. There's a candle that I'm an affiliate with that you can get a coupon code, a local candle maker. And then all the things that I talk about in today's episode will be linked down below as well. If there's project pages or like makers websites or whatever, I'll try to link everything. If I ever forget to link something and you have questions, just reach out. This is episode number 12. I've been doing this pretty consistently every 2 weeks, so that's pretty good. And coming to you from Billings, Montana. It is a nice spring day. It is warming up outside again. Last week, was it just last week? We had a fair amount of snow, or not a fair amount, but a few inches of snow, and it was colder. And now we're back into like the spring-like weather. We're up in the 50s generally during the day. Sunshine, it's bright outside, so if you see glare on my glasses, it's because I have a window open so I can see outside, but it also adds natural light, which makes it better for you guys to see things, especially the colors. I think that's it. If I mentioned in the last time but there have been some new viewers, new subscribers, and I'd like to say thank you. Please, I don't usually say this, but like and subscribe if you like this episode. And, let other people know about it so we can have a fun, yarny community. All right, last time I had a pattern release. This time I do not. So I won't be talking about any patterns. I do have a finished project that I'm not going to talk about because it's for a pattern that is in testing currently and will come out soon. But I do have one other finished object to show you in a little bit. But first I'm going to talk to you about what I'm wearing. And this is another old but goodie. It is the Stillwater, I think it's just called Stillwater, but Stillwater cardigan by Marie Green. This was, she does, what is her tag? Olive Knits maybe? She does every summer a 4-day sweater knit along, and it's not like you can do it over 2 weeks, but it's basically 4 days worth of knitting. And this was her very first one because this is the pattern that she had to knit like in 4 days or something like that. And I participated in that knit along back when it happened. It was 2017, and this is my finished sweater from it. And I used stand up so you can kind of see the length and the cable. It's not a real faux cable that runs down the edges before the button band on either side. And then it's just straight stockinette everywhere else. And it's a raglan construction, top down. And I use Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the colorway Hayloft. It is the exact same yarn and the exact same colorway that Marie Green used in her design. I rarely do that, but this is one of my favorite colorways of Shelter. Shelter is like a bit of a tweedy yarn. It's woolen spun, so it's very lofty and airy, and I love this color. It's a neutral in my mind, but I'm wearing like all black today, and then, I throw on a peanut butter colored cardigan, but whatever. So really love it. I usually don't like raglan cardigans so much because they have a tendency to fall off the shoulders. This one does slip down a little bit, but it never falls all the way off. So it's better than others that I've tried to make in the past. All right, so we'll go right into finished objects. And like I said, I only have one that I'm going to show you. And that is my February socks. I do have both of them here. I just put one on the blocker. So this was at the bonus video at the beginning of the year. I talked about wanting to use more stash yarn, and this was one of those things that I'm doing where I I put some sock yarn into individual brown paper bags and seal them up. And then every month I get to draw one out randomly and then knit socks out of them. And this is the this month's that I picked. So this is, oh, I do have the leftover yarn in here. It is Murray Wool Goods, Murray & Company Wool Goods, Classic Sock, the Holly and the Ivy. And there's the rest of the ball. I'm a center puller, so I have messy leftovers, but that's fine. I don't mind. So this is a fair amount left. I think there was like, I'm not sure how much the socks used because I didn't use any contrast color. I want to say they used maybe close to 70 grams. So there's a fair amount left, but it will probably just go into scrappy projects of some sort. I don't have enough Christmas scrap yarn to do like a whole scrappy blanket out of Christmas yarn yet, but we shall see. Yeah, and so these are knit with my pattern, trusty top-down socks. It is one of my designs. You can find it, I'll have this project page link down below, but you can find it on all my sites to buy. It's a $2.50 pattern. 9 sizes, I believe, where it is top-down, fingering weight, just standard heel flap gusset, but it does have a garter edge heel flap, standard trusty sock pattern. I knit these ones on zeros. I talked about it last time that my gauge might have changed. I used to knit this finer weight of sock yarn, which this is like 464 yards or something like that per 100 grams. I used to knit this kind with US 1s, 60 stitches, but I found that they were kind of loose to wear. So now I knit this pair on US 0s, which are 2.0 millimeter and 60 stitches, and they fit very nice. But since they're Christmassy socks, I'm gonna just put them away and bring them out next year at Christmas. And that's my only finished object this for the last 2 weeks. I have been working a lot on bigger projects, so I haven't been finishing up smaller things. Yeah, so I guess we'll go into whips. The first one I'm going to show you is the progress I've made on my husband's sweater. The Bibliophile 3 by Alicia Plummer. This one I am knitting out of Harrisville Designs Nightshades and the colorway Insomnia. I've talked about it on every podcast since I cast it on. Yep, this is the front. Here's where I was last time, where that marker is. And I just finished binding off the body this morning. I got about halfway through it yesterday, late afternoon, and then put it down because it was like, the sun stays out later, but it was getting to that like lower sun, and it was just not as much, and it's dark, so it wasn't as much light in the house. So I waited till this morning to finish it off. And yeah, I used, did I write in I haven't written every update in the project page yet, but I will try to. I did not do the type of collar she asked for. I just did it one by one and tacked it down. And then the ribbing at the bottom, I did one by one, and then I did a Italian sewn bind off, which is like a tubular type bind off without the setup rows. So it just makes a nice rolled edge. Takes forever when it's over 200 stitches, but I think it's worth it in the end. So the body is complete. Now I just have sleeves to pick up and knit. And this charm actually is part of acquisitions, but I'm using both of them that came in the mail. So I'll show this one right now. This is a little Edgar Allan Poe from Charmed and Dangerous. A few weeks back, she had a pre-order for these where you could either get this guy by himself or him with his raven. And I got both. So you'll see the raven on another whip here. But there is Edgar Allan Poe. And I thought it was apt to put him on a black sweater. So yeah, that'll be done soonish. I mean, even though it's like DK, but it's a heavier DK yarn, it still takes a while just because it's so big. And I've talked about this bag before. I think actually all 3 bags are by the same maker right now that I'm using, which is hilarious. But this is Rain Works. They're out of Montana. This is my biggest bag I have from them. It's a giant bucket with lots of pockets on the inside, and this one has like they're all oiled skin canvas type stuff, and this one's like platy. This one and one other one I got from my LYS, and I think the other one we got from Sticks, but you can buy them online as well. But both Sticks and the Yarn Bar, which is my LYS, I'm sure you can buy them online. I don't know if Sticks still sells them, but I know the Yarn Bar does, because I haven't been to Sticks for a while. They're in Bozeman. That's my other LYS. All right, these next two I have cast on since the last episode. This one I talked about wanting to cast on, but I needed some yarn to come in the mail, and it did. So this is the Takitna by Caitlin Hunter. I am knitting it out of Biche and Bouche Les Petites Lambs wool in a multitude of colors. I talked about each and every color last time. I'll go through them. I have it written down, I think, on last week's notes. Let me go back. I do not. I have it written down on the pattern itself. So if I can, let's see if I can remember these. This one is dark blue turquoise. This is my new one that I was waiting to get in. So it's an acquisition. It's blue turquoise, or just turquoise. This one is beige maybe, and then mustard yellow, soft orange brown, I think, and then gold brown or dark gold brown, something like that. Dark gold is the main color. And I talked last time how I had these three plus the brown for a previous project, and the brown was going to be the main color, and then I had leftovers of this from a project for my daughter, and I just needed one more to round it out. In my project page on Ravelry, you will see that I have a picture of a Yellowstone hot pot. This is what these colors are really reminding me of, is the pool of a hot pot, and then the ground beyond it. So I love it. It's very much a 70s muted, cool vibe on the colorways, and it almost like this motif kind of reminds me of the video game, the old school video game. Is it Asteroids? Not Asteroids. I can't remember the game, but where you shoot all the guys, and this kind of reminds me of the gun and the blockade. It's an old Atari game. Anyways, yeah, I really like it, and it is on US 4s right now. I did go up to 5s. So I was on, what 4 is what? 3.5. So I was on US 5s, 3.75 for the color work. And then the main stockinette section, I'm on US 4s, which is 3.5 millimeter. And yeah, and then I still haven't decided, once I get to the sleeves, if I'm going to do the color work at the bottom, but there is color work at the sleeves as well. Kind of mimics these motifs. And I did steam block the yoke just to get a good idea how it fits. Before, you know, so I could try it on before I separated for the sleeves. And I did, I don't think I ever had to add to this one. I think I got it to the right spot before I actually separated for once. So it's rare. A lot of times I'm like, oh, it looks good. And then I separate for the sleeves, and then I try it on after I get like an inch or so down on the body, and it's like up in the armpits, and I'm like, oh. So this one, I think I got it right. And it should relax even more, and this yarn should bloom and be a little even softer. It's not like super scratchy by any means, but you know, it's wool. But yeah, so that is one of my new whips. I was really like going strong on that when I was in the color work, and then like, I don't know if you guys are like this, once you get done with like the fun part of a sweater, it's kind of a slog. And this one's, you know, well over 200 stitches on small needles and small yarn. It takes a while to get around. All right, and then my last one is a pair of socks. This was an acquisition from last week. It was the Kirby Werby yarn that I talked about last week, the Frozen Farmer's Hiney. I did, since I finished my other socks, I cast on a pair for my daughter because she really liked this. It's, oh, there you can see the sparkle a bit. It's a sparkle base. So it came with a contrast mini that I'm gonna put for the toes and the cuff for sure. The heel I might stripe. It just depends on where. It's like a 10 stripe repeat, I believe. So it depends on where I end my my leg and how much I think is left before I need to start the next one. If I do how I do the heel, I'll just figure it out there. But I'm gonna do an afterthought heel. I got all the markers on the back marking every 10 stitches or 10 rows, and then I have my different color markers here marking out where I'm going to put my afterthought heel, and I'll cut that in towards the end. And here is the other marker from Charmed and Dangerous, and this is the Raven, and it's iridescently how you're catching that purple iridescence. It's kind of cool. Yeah, and so this is just a toe-up vanilla sock. I think I'm doing 56 stitches, 3x1 rib on the foot and then the leg. Whenever I do after that, or any heel really, unless it's a heel flap and gusset, I usually do a little bit beyond without the ribbing or whatever texture I'm doing, just to add a little bit more comfort where the top of your shoe hits. So yeah, I think they're turning out good, and it's just my little sock, my only sock project right now. And yeah, another bag by Rain Works. This one is like small project bag with a zipper. I like this one for socks, hats, anything small, but I usually use it for socks because that's what I usually knit. All right, I think that's it for whips. I haven't really worked on any of my scrappy projects so much. I did make a magic knot ball, and I'm putting like 5 grams or less into that, and I'm going to design, I think, a blanket to go with super small scraps. So that will be a design that takes many, many years to finish because I'm just using super small scraps to make it. Anyway, so I'll go into acquisitions. So you saw the Charmed and Dangerous charms. It was the Edgar Allan Poe and the Raven. And then I also got my turquoise yarn. Here, I'll get the actual ball out. From Biche and Bouche. I actually ordered this from La Mercerie. They used to just be an online shop. Now they do have a store in Washington. Don't think they're in Portland. I think they're in Washington, or in Oregon. I think they're in Washington, but they could be in Oregon. One of those two in the Pacific Northwest. And yeah, so I ordered that, and since I was just ordering one ball, like, well, you order a little bit more. So I got some mohair, knitting for Olive, soft silk mohair, and the color powder. I only needed 3 of these. Actually, I'll get up and show you because I don't think I've printed off this pattern yet. Oh, I did. Because I want to make vest number 1, and this is by, oh, doesn't have it on here, who the designer is. That's funny. Can't think of the name right now, but it's like, I'll put it down below, but it's vest number 1. They have their patterns not available on Ravelry, but they're on Ravelry, so you can look them up, and then you have to buy them on their website. Anyways, so it's a really big gauge, and it calls for like worsted weight. So I figured DK with mohair would work. And I had this Sanascarn Smart, which is a super wash colorway oatmeal from a few years ago. I bought this from Sticks and thinking I was going to make this other vest, and I never got around to making it. But then I thought these two together, you know, they're not quite the same color, so there will be a little bit of a difference, but not a lot. Would make a really pretty, you know, very similar to that color vest. And it would use yarn out of my stash. And yeah, so I haven't knit a vest for a really long time. I think I've only knit one, and it was a long time ago. So I have plans to knit this one, which is like a plain stockinette vest. And then I hope to knit one of Thea Coleman's, which is a cabled vest. So we'll see when that one happens. But yeah, maybe when I get done with one of these sweaters, I'll cast on that vest project. We'll see. So the only other semi-yarny acquisitions was I ordered some t-shirts from Shelly Can. She came out with a new design recently that was this one, the Knit at Night, which I love because I used to watch Knit at Night long time ago when I was, you know, in junior high and high school, back when I had cable. But yeah, so I love this. This one's like on a dark navy blue. And then since I was buying one t-shirt, I figured I'd buy another one. And I always liked this design that she had. And so this is the Silly Goose University. And it's a lighter shirt. I don't have a lot of light shirts, and in the summertime I actually do prefer to wear a lighter color because you don't get as hot. So I was thinking ahead. But yeah, so I got those that just came in the mail yesterday, which is why I'm not wearing one today because I haven't washed them yet. And then we did like go record shopping and book shopping this weekend because everybody was home for once. And so we hit up a bookstore and we hit up the record store. Yeah, so we got, some books and records. I guess I do have the books up here because I need to put them in my, I just didn't make it upstairs yet. I need to put them in my, my bookcase. But I got a couple of more thrillers that I've been hearing people talk about and I haven't read yet. So I haven't read any of Lisa Jewell's yet. So I got Then She Was Gone. And then I also got, I think this is one of her newer ones, Frida McFadden. The Teacher. We went to Barnes & Noble and these were part of the buy one, get one 50% off deal. So I got 2 books. My daughter got 2 books and my son got 2 books. Theirs, like one of each of theirs was the buy one, get one 50% off. And then the other ones were not. And then we also got a, I think, Python programming book for both my husband and my son to play with because computer dorks. Yeah, and then records. Basically, I picked out all the records, but for the most part, everybody else was like on board. I got the Beatles' Abbey Road. I did not bring these upstairs. They're all downstairs. Foo Fighters, the first album, Foo Fighters. Tom Waits' Bone Machine. That's the one that nobody else really knew who Tom Waits was. I used to listen to him in college a lot. And this is one of his albums that is more experimental, but it's good. And then Pixies, Bossa Nova. I want this other Pixies album. I can't remember what it's called. This is the second one that I wanted, and they had this one in the shop. So Bossa Nova. So yeah, eclectic mix of music, but that's just kind of how we roll. All right, I guess that's it for all the like yarny and knitting and all of that stuff. I will talk a little bit about reading and watching and life stuff. So reading, I finished Fairy Tale by Stephen King. This one took me a while to read. It was not super engaging until it got closer to the end. but it was still a good read. It was just, it didn't like hook me where I had to keep reading, where some books where I read a lot faster. That's why, because they hook me in, and then I read way more than I normally do at night, where I just like read, for 15-20 minutes before I go to bed. But yeah, so this one took a while, but I really did enjoy it. I think I gave it a 4 on Goodreads. It is, it kind of does fall into the fairy tale realm, but with a Stephen King kind of twist to it. So it is very good. I'm probably going to pass it on to kids, and I don't know. My husband doesn't read a lot, but I think everybody in the family would like this book. And then, and I had finished listening to my Audible book at the last podcast, so I started listening to another one in my library, The Wizard's Butler by Nathan Lowell. I'm not quite 50% done listening to that one. It's a much quicker book. It is about a wizard, old wizard that hires a new butler, and the butler is, doesn't think magic's real type thing. So it's kind of interesting. I'm just getting into it right now. But yeah, it's been interesting and good. I like the characters so far. And then I started reading Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This one I bought a while back because I think it was maybe Ray on Needles at the Ready podcast was talking about this book, and I think maybe both of them read the whole series, and I think there's it's 3 books in the trilogy, but I think he's written more beyond that. I think there's probably 5 or 6 maybe now total. So I'm guessing it's more than a trilogy at this point. But this is the first book. I'm past halfway point on this one. I've been reading a lot while knitting, especially on the stockinette parts of my sweaters. So I have a book stand and I can prop this up and read. Sometimes when I'm tired of sitting at my desk or something, I will just sit in one of our comfy chairs and read. And then, of course, when I go to bed at night, I usually read a bit. So this has been, an interesting read. I will probably, I'm sure I'll get in, it took me a while to get into it, to be honest. It was a lot of society building right away that I had a hard time grasping everything. So it took a little bit, but then once I kind of got into it more, and now it's really good. It's hard for me to not read a lot. So it's one of those where I read a lot faster or get through the book a lot quicker just because I'm reading it a lot more. Yeah, so that's what I've been reading. Watching, I guess it was just not last weekend, but the weekend before, we watched the Super Bowl. I was rooting for the 49ers, so they didn't win. And then my husband and I finished watching Witcher season 3. It got better at the end. I know before I was talking that, we just didn't, it seemed kind of jumbled and not kind of with it so much. But liked it how it ended up. And then we finished watching Percy Jackson series 1 on Disney Plus with the kids. They really enjoyed that. I thought it was very good too. I'm still watching Gilmore Girls. We started watching maybe last fall with my daughter the Scream movies, and we just got done watching Scream 3 with her. So now she's watched those. I don't know if we'll watch the 4th one. It's not kind of within the realm of all the other ones in my mind. And then my husband and I watched This Is Spinal Tap. I haven't seen that for a long time. Yeah, that's classic. Good movie. Yeah, so life stuff, it's just been, busy as usual. I think the last time I talked to you, my daughter had her national speech and debate qualifiers coming up that weekend, and my husband and I both judged at that. She actually made it to semis, which is the first time she ever made it to semis in any of the competitions, so that's really good. She is really enjoying that. Bummer it's done for the year. We do have awards night tomorrow night to go to for that. But yeah, she's just already like thinking about what she's going to do her speeches on and stuff for next year. So that's good. It's exciting. And she just started doing rehearsals for the school play of Little Women. She's doing costume and some other tech support, I think. And then, yeah, so she's busy, you know, finishing up her freshman year of high school. I am working on designs, of course, and getting some stuff figured out for classes to teach, and yeah, just my normal routine, my husband's normal routine. He's working at home, and the boy is just middle school, 6th grader. Yep. Hasn't started up any of his spring sports yet, so once that starts up, we'll be a lot more busy during the week, on the weekends, just between practices. And I think track meets, at least when my daughter was in it, was on Thursdays, usually Tuesdays or Thursdays, and then soccer games are always on Saturdays, so yeah, it'll just be busy in the spring, I'm sure. Yeah, that's a little bit quicker of an episode because I didn't have as much knitting to talk about. But I hope you guys had a good 2 weeks. I hope you have a good next 2 weeks, and I hope to see you again next time. Until then, you know, happy knitting, have fun, support your local makers, all that fun jazz. All right, bye guys.